Kapag may labay nagkakaisa, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, basketball na. Ang bawat labay pinaghahandaan, kaya yumayanig ang bakbakan. Todo suporta ang lahat sa kanya-kanyang kupunan. Basketball na muna tayo, iwasan na ang mga bisyo. Sports ang laging iisipin, sa droga ay huwag paalipin. Buong bansa'y magsama-sama. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, MPBL na, MPBL na. Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. Ang bawat laban ay nakakakaba, dahil sa husay ng bawat isa. Sigawan ay yumayanig kapag nag 3 points na. Bawat bayay di patatalo, buong barangay ay suportado. Kahit ano ang mangyari, sama-sama tayo. Basketball na muna tayo, iwasan na ang mga bisyo. Sports ang laging iisipin, sa droga ay huwag paalipin. Buong bansa'y magsama-sama. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, MPBL na, MPBL na. Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. MPBL na. Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino, sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. MPBL, Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League.
Hindi mo kayang malunok ang katotohanang marami pa rin tayong kababayang gutom at walang tahanan. Kaya hindi ka tumigil sa paglaban. Harapin ang kahirapan. Tulungan ang nangangailangan. Basagin ang korupsyon na kanilang nakasanayan. Sa loob at labas, man ng Pinas, bakas na bakas ang iyong tapang puksain ang mga problema ng bansa. Gamit ang lakas, gamit ang isip, gamit ang puso. Kung para sa mamamayang Pilipino, si MP, wala yang sinisino. Manny Pacquiao.
That's Caliente. Oh, what a scoop shot. The best player too. Oh! Justin Baltazar. Casino. The trailer is Chris Lalata, who gives us a throwdown. 2 seconds left. Fuentes.
Oh my
goodness.
Hear the logo from Del Fuentes. It is another beautiful day for Philippine basketball as we continue our coverage of the 2024 MPBL playoffs, coming to you live from the Quezon Convention Center. Right now, we feature the Ant-Man who has been big time for South Cotabato in the last couple of games. He had 24 points in Game 1 versus Binyan, and he followed it up with a double-double of 13 points and 10 assists in their Game 3 victory. He will take on the red-hot Levy Hernandez and the rest of the Batangas Roadmasters as Levy was able to average 21 points per game on hitting 6 3-pointers between those two games in round number 1 versus the Davao Occidental Tigers. Let's see if those two players can continue with their streak here in the playoffs as we come to you live from Quezon Province. And later on, the Huskers will go up against the number 5 seeded Parañaque Patriots for our main event. Thank you for joining us, folks. This is Mix Gomez at your service alongside Coach Mike Perez. Coach Mike, we were able to witness a great series between South Cotabato and Binyanta Takjel. It was such a tough opponent for South Cotabato back then, but now it's a tougher opponent with Batangas City. But to you, what makes Batangas the tougher opponent?
Well, it's tougher because when you talk about half-court sets, these guys are very efficient. They crash the board, get offensive rebounds, get second chance points. So if I am now South Cotabato, I have to be very efficient, lalo na when you look at three-point makes. They gotta sink those threes.
By the way, efficiency was key for Levy Hernandez, the guy who I talked about a while ago. But it's also how he described his teammate in Cedric Ablaza, who Andrea Indisio will be talking about alongside Jervy Cruz. Andrea, go ahead.
Yes, Migs, the last time nga that these two teams met, South Cotabato had a bit of a hard time. At sabi nga ng veteranong si Jervy Cruz, nahirapan daw talaga siya sa mga katapatan niya in that game, namely Ced Ablaza and Jexter Apinan. Wherein sabi naman itong si Ced Ablaza, on point daw yung naging depensa nila in that game at medyo nakulangan nga lang daw siya sa kanilang opensa. Buti na lang daw ngayon, mas nagiging stable or offensively na itong sina Levy Hernandez at Jong Baloria, samahan pa ni Philip Panyamogan, who obviously found his groove in this court. Nonetheless, kung ang naging namayani daw sa team noong previous game was their cohesiveness and familiarity, ang question na lang daw ngayon is, will that be their edge once again? What do you think, gentlemen?
Well, Philip Panyamogan definitely has found his groove, averaging double figures of 10.1 points per game. That's, of course, joining the likes of Levy Hernandez and Cedric Ablaza for the Batangas Rum Masters. And we can't forget about Jong Baloria, who did top score for Batangas in the regular season versus South Cotabato with 21 points. And that brings us to our playoff picture, our top 8 remaining in the MPBL.
Yeah, of course, in the North Division, you have San Juan already leading that race with 1-0. Ganun din sa side ng Pampanga. Now, this is the first time we're gonna have this round para dito sa South. And so, we're gonna be figuring out sino ba ang unang magdodraw ng first blood in the first game in the best of 3.
Well, the conversation all season long was, it's going to be tough, it's going to be close in the South Division. Well, Parañaque gave us a breather, or not just a breather, but you know, some validation with that point, giving us that upset versus Zamboanga, an upset as well by South Cotabato against Binyan. Here's what happened in the regular season, a 9-point victory for Batangas City.
Well, clearly dominated by Batangas in that game. No Porter, no Oliva, no Arim, no Alarcon, not even Cruz, but the 4 starters were all in double digits and really just really good efficient shooting at 50%. 4 players with actually 5 rebounds at least, kaya may plus 11 sila pagdating sa rebounds. And we talked about the offensive execution, the effort on the glass. That's a plus 18 and a plus 7 when it comes to points in the paints and second chance points, all here for the Rum Masters.
By the way, that game happened inside the Batangas City Coliseum. Of course, the crowd favoring the Rum Masters is going to be different as we come to game number 1 of the playoffs. We're now seeing the season averages for both teams.
Yeah, and you see a bunch of numbers here, but I want to focus first on South Cotabato. They are slightly the better offensive team, primarily because of their three-point shooting. You know, that's got to be in there where they are ranked number 1. However, when you look at the Batangas, this is really a better defensive team, allowing only 74 points per game para sa opponent, and a better assisting team. They try to find guys who are open, and that's primarily hinged on the half-court set execution, which is very efficient.
Those descriptions that you just gave me will just bring me back to what you said. Efficiency for South Cotabato and Batangas in game number 1. Which team will prevail? Let's see, as now we turn you over to Richard Tampos to get things going.
This is game 1 of the best of 3 at the Quezon Convention Center. Presented by Extreme. And MPBL Party List ang kaliga ng mamamayang Pilipino. Join me in welcoming the starting lineups. First, the MPBL inaugural season champion, Batangas City Tanduay Rum Masters.
Let's go!
Forward number 15, Don Ochea. The other forward number 23, Ced Ablaza. Guard number 31, MJ De La Virgen. Playing center number 43, Jexter Apinan. Starting at guard number 45, Jong Baloria. The head coach is Cholo Villanueva. Assistant coaches J.R. Aquino, Warren Capitan, John Arenas, and Dino Ponce Enrile. Assistant team manager Gilbert Alea. Team manager Gene Alabanza. The team owner Lucio Tan III. Now starting for South Cotabato Warriors. Playing center number 1, Jammer Hamito. At guard number 4, the Flash, Nico Elorde. Starting at guard number 15, Enzo Hoson. Power forward number 20, Jerby Cruz. Also at forward number 21, the MPBL Season 1 MVP, Val Acuña. The head coach is Elvis Tolentino. Assistant coaches, Boying Diloy, Ramon Pido, Apple Coronado, Peter Deleguero, and Rod Tolentino. The team manager.
Presenting our starters for game number 1 of Batangas City and South Cotabato. These are brought to you by Sports Max, powered by PlayMax, the official online entertainment partner of the MPBL. Win to the max. Enzo Hoson, Nico Elorde, Jammer Hamito, Jerby Cruz, and Val Acuña. That is a potent fight for Coach Elvis Tolentino against the usual gunners for Coach Cholo Villanueva. It's his score with Cedric Ablaza, Jong Baloria, Jexter Apinan, MJ De La Virgen, and Don Ochea. We do thank you for joining us as we come to you live from Quezon Province. This is Mix Gomez at your service, alongside Coach Mike Perez and Andrea Endicio. Later on, it is the Huskers defending their home court against Parañaque. A miss by De La Virgen, rebound Hamito, and here comes Nico Elorde.
Well, no surprises there on the very first attack. 3 points kaagad na nakita mo dito sa Batangas. We talked about that as being something that's intentional para dito sa Batangas getting into the playoffs, and they want to exploit that here. Not the turnover here.
That was an intentional steal by Don Ochea, who gets the layup on the other end.
Oh, kaya pag pinag-uusapan natin kung gaano kasiguro ang execution ng South Cotabato Warriors, it really starts off with taking care of that ball. That's the first turnover of the game, which they normally would average 12 per game itong South Cotabato.
Again, efficiency will be key in game number 1. This is Enzo Hoson. The cross and the mid-range jumper does not work for him. Rebound for Batangas. De La Virgen will slow down.
Second straight empty possession para dito sa South Cotabato Warriors. We talked about defense. You know, these guys are very patient. And that one hit hard.
Well, Nico Elorde is known for throwing offensive fouls in the league.
Maganda rin yan labanan na yan, no? MJ and Nico at the guard spot.
You're talking about patience. That is something that Coach Cholo and MJ will have to exhibit in game number 1. This is Nico Elorde. That was tapped away by Jexter Apinan, straight onto the leg of Nico.
Right there, you saw that lane that was open on the right side of the floor, allowing Nico Elorde to drive, but it wasn't that easy. Even kung nandun na siya sa harap ng rim, there was still that rim protection para dito sa Tanduay Rum Masters.
Apinan playing point guard. They're up 2-0 with a minute and a half gone by. Ochea. That was almost a steal by Val Acuña. The ball went out of bounds. Val Acuña is the first ever most valuable player of the MPBL, but technically speaking, it was a finals MVP award given to him when he was playing for Batangas. So now he's going up against his former team. Jong Baloria drains that mid-range jumper.
Wow. Second jumper from the outside. Say long two pareho yon, pero clearly the attempt, it has to be making shots from the outside para dito sa Tanduay Rum Masters.
Baloria will look to translate his scoring prowess versus South Cotabato from the regular season onto the postseason. As he mentioned, he was the top scorer with 21. That happened inside Batangas City Coliseum. Here's his midi. Good screen by Jexter Apinan as well.
Oh, good screen right there. You know, you can't afford to do that against Jong Baloria, lalo na at the start of the game. You get him in the groove, that could last until the very end of the game. You have to remember, when South Cotabato battled them out in the eliminations in the regular season, 4 of the 5 starters actually went to double digits in scoring.
And 3 of them started today in 𝗦𝗫𝗦𝗦𝗑𝗓𝗏 and Apinan. The other guy who scored in double figures was the leading scorer all season long for Batangas in 𝗦𝗫𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Pinapalabas, MJ de la Virgen. The shot clock and the game clock are not moving above the board. But he was actually able to adjust at the last second.
That's right. Humabol, ano?
Yeah. Ano tawag doon?
May
Glitch?
delay. Yeah, merong glitch eh.
Glitch. We do continue. Batangas has possession. 𝗏𝗏𝗓𝗏 backing down against 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗛. There's the fade and the make. Basket and one for 𝗏𝗏𝗓𝗏.
Well, Batangas really here starting with a really good groove. I guess yung rest na nakuha nila and not having to play game 3 really did them well. As you see here, 𝗏𝗏𝗓𝗏 fading against the defense of 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗛.
This is such a good sign for 𝗏𝗏𝗓𝗏, who's mainly a defensive player for Batangas City. But the goal, of course, is to become a two-way player for Coach Cholo Villanueva.
That's right.
They've been looking for a 3-level scorer for years already as a part of their core, and they might be able to fulfill that by committee. As now it is a foul called on Cedric Ablaza.
Number 23 is Cedric Ablaza, that's his first 13 foul.
Could that actually be a concern for the bigs of Batangas? There are fouls in this game.
Right. So you gotta defend without fouling here.
Hoson onto 𝗦𝗏𝗦𝗜𝗏𝗏. They go to 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 with a nice fake. Unfortunately, he stepped out of bounds.
And South Cotabato has really not found the groove yet, so to speak. You know, it's the defense that's really dictating this game para dito sa Batangas.
That's one of the main reasons why they have reached the division finals for consecutive years already. But that in itself is the problem for Batangas. They haven't gotten over that hump of the division finals. As now, there's a nice feed by Valoria and 2 points for Jexter.
At saka nakikita mo yung disiplina sa depensa at opensa nitong Batangas. So it's really, South Cotabato's gonna have to adjust.
There's the adjustment by Jervy Cruz. Jervy had 18 points in game number 3. I asked him what caused it, and he said, well, I missed the game winner in game number 2.
Yeah.
That's his motivation. Can he translate it to this series, as it is another turnover off of that errant pass by Nico Elorde?
Some of these turnovers have really been unforced para dito sa South Cotabato.
This play of the game is brought to you by Suzuki. Valoria working that two-man game with Jexter Apinan returning the favor. But to your point about the turnovers, could it actually be an after effect of the pressure that Batangas has been putting on?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, making you uncomfortable in different spots that you usually could make quick decisions.
It is a turnover on the other end.
There you go.
𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, defended by 𝗏𝗏𝗓𝗏𝗏. Acuna stops on a dime and he misfired. Talk about confidence with your shooting.
Yeah. Well, no surprises of them taking shots. Nakakagulat lang doon. May bantay no?
Yes.
At saka off a dribble.
May pantay din and off the dribble for Jong Valoria, and he was unable to convert. Over 4 minutes gone by in game number 1 for round number 2. Batangas and South Cotabato. Enzo Hoson. They swing it over. Jervy Cruz. Jervy onto Jammer, and that is foul number 2 on set.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, that isang bagay yan na pwedeng i-exploit nitong Warriors, because Jammer Amito's been pretty solid for them, especially in that Binyan game. Having to go up against the other bigs of Binyan wasn't an easy task for Jammer at all.
His best game was game number 1 with 16 points and 5 rebounds. A season-high 3 blocks as well versus Mark Pingres and company. In game number 2, he had 11 points and 6 rebounds in their 1-point loss. His numbers actually continued to lessen for Coach Elvis Tolentino. But then again, his presence has been well felt. And the good thing is, we've seen progress from guys like Jervy Cruz and Felix Apreco.
That's right. And yun naman ang gusto mong umangat. No? You want to shore that up because all the more bigs are starting to perform for your team, it's gonna do well, lalo na for your shooters on the floor, speaking of the Warriors.
Another guy who has been producing is Dari Rodriguez,
Right.
another veteran in the MPBL.
Yeah, with that special second quarter explosion right there in game number 3, that was huge.
We're back to Nico Elorde. Going to Jammer Hamito. 15 on the shot clock. Not a time here for South Cotabato. Elorde going left. Kick out to Val. A three-pointer. That's
there you
good.
Go. That's the best look so far that we've seen from the Warriors. I mean, a clean catch and shoot on the left side of the floor with the defense sagging off a really good shooter in Val Acuña.
Acuña, by the way, had great looks as well in the regular season versus Batangas City. That was the game when he was able to convert 6 3-pointers, his season high. As now Enzo Olson was able to convert in the paint.
Yep. Really good run here para sa South Cotabato. Now you got your groove. Now game starting now right here between these two teams.
And we're also delighted to have drummers present in Quezon Province for our first game.
So two things I realized in the playoffs of the MPBL. First, definitely it's going to be very physical. The second, it's going to be a little bit noisier compared to the regular season because of all the mga trumpets and mga drums.
Which we would gladly take.
Yes, great.
We would also gladly take that three-pointer from Don Ochea. No answer from Nico Elorde. Ablaza got the board. He's playing with 2 fouls, by the way. Here's Apinan, strong side, a layup.
And that's the thing with Jexter. If you're gonna give him momentum on the left side of the floor and allow him to get about 3-4 feet on the rack, forget it. He's gonna score.
Enzo Hoson misfiring from downtown. Offensive rebound and the putback for Jammer Hamito.
Ibang klase talaga pinakikita ni Jammer. In that game, in the regular season, he actually had 5 offensive rebounds in that match to go along with his 12 points. And so you'd like to see for that version of Jammer again here in the first game.
And remember, this is also a guy who finished the regular season on a very high note. In his last 3 preliminary games, he was averaging 17 points and 16 rebounds, including his season best of 21 and 17 versus Davao Occidental.
And you'd like to catch that, good momentum and rhythm heading into the playoffs because it builds on your confidence, especially the stakes become higher when you get into the playoffs. You lose, you're going home.
Hamito will now be paired with Larry Rodriguez. And they also have Mark Cruz and Kyle Tolentino in the game. Christian Pajarito, by the way, is about to return for South Cotabato. We have missed him for quite a while now. 3 on the shot clock. Hernandez escapes and he scores.
Multitude of ways that Batangas can actually hurt you. They went for a spin action. They got the ball to Levy. Didn't have that shot. Still, Levy's able to go inside and drive. Another 3 in the corner here.
That was wide open for Tolentino, who wasn't able to convert. And here's Philip Panyamogan. Philip working with Jexter. Panyamogan shoving off his defender. He goes right. Behind the back, Ablaza all day. Too strong. Offensive rebound to Jexter. They go back to Philip, their 3rd leading scorer.
Wow.
To Apinan with a layup.
Twice na natin nakita yung 2-man game na yun, when they free that left side of the floor. It's called an empty ball screen when you don't have a guy on the corner. And really just up for those 2 guys to play that side of the floor freely.
And that is the transition that we have loved from Philip Panyamogan. As Hamito scores on the other end. Panyamogan told me that in order to become comfortable in this system of Cholo, he's had to let go of that score-first mentality.
Right.
It has had to be pass-first, and then eventually things will open up for him as a scorer.
Right. Sometimes it's really a matter of surrendering me to the we. There's a bigger picture to be played, but the bigger picture is Jammer Amito's having a really good game.
Right on cue, he misfired from downtown.
That was a good shot, though. Didn't have anyone on him.
Although he already has 5 points and 4 rebounds.
Pero I'm sure yun yung shot na willing i-give up ng Batangas for Jammer outside. Doon ka na lang sa labas tumira, wag dito sa loob. Nakakasakit ka sa loob.
It is 18-14. Apinan on the cut. The pass was too wide. And now we have 3 substitutions. The before mentioned Christian Pajarito making his return after having health complications. Although he has been training with South Cotabato for a month now. This fast break of the game is brought to you by Sports Max, powered by Play Max, the official online entertainment partner of the MPBL Win to the Max.
And nobody stopped that ball with Jexter Apinan, having momentum going downhill. Now you see John Amboludo here. He is one of those guys. The reason why blocks have doubled in the playoffs para dito sa Batangas. His presence inside, really rim protection, pretty good.
And it is momentum that he built from the regular season. He was the last best player of the game of Batangas City. That's a foul. And one for Mark Cruz.
That's what you gotta love about Mark Cruz. Primarily a point guard, very rarely takes shots, but when he takes shots, he's got a really good clip from the outside, especially from 3.
Look at the spin on the ball. Just beautiful to watch. And there was also a celebration towards his opponent. That's a Steph Curry celebration,
That's right? And he knew that contact was coming. That closeout was, coming and gonna hit him.
I asked Nico Elorde before this game, what can you say about the recent progress of Mark Cruz? And he said, playoff mark.
Yep.
That's it.
So huwag natin kalimutan, we talked about this. Last year, ito yata reunion na playoff rin, between these two. It was the Jensen Warriors back then going up against Batangas again. It's the same things, different personnel lang in mga nagbago.
Of course, the biggest departure was John Wilson for the Jensen Warriors, who's now with Nueva Ecija. It's now 20-18. Pajarito kicks it out.
Wow.
Valentino, same shot, same result. And the ball went out of bounds.
And Batangas continues to give up that left side 3 on the floor. And they're allowing that pass. That's where Vala Cunha hits his shot. That's where Mark Cruz got his shot. That's where twice Kyle has taken shots unmolested from 3.
He's going to have to convert, though.
Yes.
After all, they are known for the 3-point shooting. You broke down in the pregame. They're #1 in makes. They're also #1 in takes from downtown.
Right.
This Coach's Challenge is brought to you by the MPBL Party List, ang kaliga ng mamamayang Pilipino. And there you see Coach Elvis Tolentino. We do want to congratulate him for getting his first 2 playoff wins in round #1 against Binyan. Before that, he wasn't able to get a victory with the Marikina Shoe Masters.
Right. And you gotta tip your hats off to this guy right here. Coach Elvis Tolentino has really made that adjustment quickly as we have a successful challenge right here. And ibang klase yung ginawa niya para dito sa Warriors.
Let's see who tapped it out of bounds. It was Philip Panyamogan off of his knee. Of course, he tried to hide it. Ooh, some extra motion already between Panyamogan and Janicio. Well, there has been no shortage of physicality in the playoffs, but these things could be easily avoidable. Wala pa nagsisimula. At nagsimula na sila.
Hindi gusto yata nila mag-handshake, mali lang yung handshake. Patapik pareho pababa.
Rodriguez double-teamed, and that's a turnover. Nasayang yung challenge.
Right. A little bit tight on that situation right there. 3 white shirts against Larry.
No more shot clock in the first quarter. It's been fast, by the way.
Yes,
no
agree.
breaks for us. Levy Hernandez unable to score. And here's Marvin Janicio on the counter. He shoots the 3. To no avail for Marvin. And so we end quarter #1 just like that. A 2-point advantage for Batangas.
Well, both teams really trying to shoot from the outside, especially on the 3s. But the conversions have been a little bit subpar. 22% para dito sa South Cotabato, 25% for Batangas. But really, defensively, offensively, disciplined itong Batangas. Enough to get the lead, but the Warriors came back roaring later in the first half, in the first quarter.
This is looking like a signature playoff game for South Cotabato. Remember, in all of their games in round #1, they were settled by 1 possession.
Right.
A 3-point win in game 1, a 1-point loss in game 2, and a 2-point win in game #3. Let's see if their comfort can actually translate against Batangas City, who did win by only 3 points versus Davao in game #2. The score is 20-18 after 1.
Taas noo kahit kanino, walang ibang sinisigaw ang masang Pilipino. Bumagsak, bumangon, hinarap ang mga hamon, hanggang ang kahirapan tuluyan nating matalo.
We present to you our player matchup for game number 1. It is the Ant-Man, Mark Cruz, taking on 𝗏𝗏 These are actually former Pampanga Lanterns, but in different seasons. Our courtside reporter Andrea Endicio has something for us about these two.
With 𝗏𝗏 becoming more and more consistent as the games intensify, pansin nga rin yan ng mga teammates niya kung he has been upping his game lately. Siyempre napansin yan ng isa sa mga katapatan niya na si Mark Cruz. This actually made him recall their collegiate days kung saan napakahirap daw bantayan nitong si 𝗏 noon. Dagdag nga nitong si Mark. Nung nasa letran pa siya while 𝗏 was in perpetual, si 𝗏 yung nilolook forward niyang kalaban as he was very unpredictable with his deadly jumpers and drives. And we could all agree that he still is. Right, gentlemen?
In terms of unpredictability for 𝗏𝗏, I remember having a conversation with Dan Malyari of Manila. Remember him? The tall defender for SV Batang Sampaloc. I asked him who's the toughest cover so far, and his answer was 𝗏𝗏. And it's because of his reads. That's how 𝗏𝗏 is able to score, which eventually translated on to, quote-unquote, the unpredictability.
Yeah, at saka hindi mo malalaman kung anong version ng 𝗏𝗏 makukuha mo in a game. Ano ba to? Defensive-minded, dishing, scoring, you know. That's just how good he is in terms of reading the game and whatever these guys need.
There's a miss in the interior for Batangas. This is after a three-pointer, by the way, courtesy of Mark Cruz. And that allowed South Cotabato to finally get the lead for the first time. A stop for them as well, off of that drive by Levy.
Yeah, ang ganda ng depensa nila doon against Levy, making him very uncomfortable.
This three-point shot is brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances. Playoff Mark is consistent so far, Coach Mike.
That's right. Kaya mga long closeouts na ganon, you know, you have to make them pay and knock it down.
It is 7 points already for Mark Cruz in this game. You know what? That matches his playoff low. 7 points, which he had in game number 2 versus Binyan. At sa lagay na yun, nakita natin yung average niya kanina, 8.8 points per game.
Right.
So it's pure elevation for the Ant-Man, as now it is the returning Christian Fajarito at the line. He told me that he had allergies that were a bit more complicated than the usual. That's why he had to miss out on games. But we have to remember, this guy was supposed to be the all-star starter for South Cotabato.
Right. Tsaka ano, you know, you're gonna need a lot of the other guys to be performing as well. As you go up against a really tough team in Batangas, these guys have good chemistry and are very disciplined. And so you need all the people that you can get to be able to counter that. So another good defensive stop.
A steal, and Mark Cruz is surveying. Cruz stays patient, cross-court Tolentino. Led by O'Neal Arim. They go back to the Ant-Man. Fajarito helping him out with the screen. They go to their roller, and Christian will miss. Panyamogan up ahead, Ambuluto, he escapes.
Right. And John Ambuluto, very active again, doing the rim run. But I want to go back dun sa set na yun ng South Cotabato Warriors. That's been consistent, even in the series against Binyan. That right side of the floor, empty ball screen.
Tolentino on the drive and feed. It is Larry Rodriguez misfiring. Great battle for the rebound. It is Fajarito winning it.
Yeah. Yun ang naging difference ngayon, I guess. You see Larry getting free and taking shots from the outside. May close out ngayon, unlike in Binyan, where you know they really drop coverage in.
This fast break of the game is brought to you by Sports Max, powered by Play Max, the official online entertainment partner of the MPBL Win to the Max. Rodriguez in trouble. He had to kick it out. And here's Kyle Tolentino, who continues to misfire. It's been a struggle for Kyle. 0 out of 3 from downtown.
Pero maganda dito sa South Cotabato, nakakapulot sila ng offensive rebound out of missed threes and inside incursions. Beautiful play inside right there.
That was off of their 4th offensive board. And Fajarito has a 2+1 opportunity. Let's see the replay.
Yeah, and this really boiled down to that high-low play and that extra possession that they got on the offensive rebound. I mean, if a team loves to take threes and loves to dribble penetrate, studies have shown that you're getting roughly about 5% more rebounds because the defense is scrambling. And so South Cotabato has done that right here, and they're getting really good offensive rebounds.
In terms of those boards, it's actually Kyle Tolentino who's had 40% of the total offensive boards of the Warriors. So if his shot is not falling, he's able to contribute in another way. It is 26-22 now. South Cotabato able to extend their lead.
That's a good matchup right there. Don against, Levy against Tolentino.
Hernandez in trouble. Good defense by Kyle.
Yeah.
That's a tough shot leading onto a block and a breakaway for Kyle Tolentino.
I mean, if you're gonna play a highlight reel of Kyle Tolentino, let that be that sequence. Excellent both ends of the floor. Exactly what we were talking about the Warriors supposed to do. Defend the best scorer, turn the ball over, make them pay on the other end.
That guy is actually the leading scorer all season long for South Cotabato. He's been well balanced, but his 9.3 makes it #1 for the Warriors, representing, of course, his dad as his head coach as well. This timeout is brought to you by the MPBL Party List, ang kaliga ng mamamayang Pilipino. This is the second appearance in the South Division semifinals of the South Cotabato Warriors following their appearance last year. They were actually favored in MPBL Season 4 against Marquee and Bacolod as the higher seed. But then again, we saw that upset by Bacolod Bingo Plus. That was their name back in the day. Ando pa sina Cranian Viloria, Jan Nermal, Alwin Alday, among others. It is now 𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗦𝗓𝗏 from the corner with the 3.
And again, #7 when it comes to 3-point makes. And they're taking a lot more threes here in the playoffs compared to how they did it in the regular season.
Cross court, Marvin Janisha for 3.
And mahirap depensahan yung ball on the post because you have almost everywhere that you can pass it to. And if you have a guy in the corner that's waiting on the weak side of the floor, catch and shoot, that's going to be an easy advantage, just like this one right here.
It is 𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗏 answering back.
Couple of threes. Definitely everyone is licensed to shoot. If you don't have a guy in front of you, you don't see red, go take it.
There's red. Marvin Janisha couldn't get back-to-back. Rebound, Panyamogan. Philip, one guy to beat, and JP Calvo. That's height difference for Panyamogan, who had to kick it out. And the taller Mark Cruz was unable to convert. It's Levy from the corner, in and out. South Cotabato will play horns. Calvo going left.
Yep.
Pajarito. Step back. A three-pointer. No good. Coach Cholo said, slow down.
Relax lang guys. Huwag na excited sa mga 3-point makes natin.
I was actually about to say, tuloy-tuloy tayo. Even in the first quarter, we had 0 breaks.
Right.
Janisha on the move. It is Tolentino with a sorry miss. Put back for Pajarito.
Well, the chase of Pajarito, staying disciplined. After that offensive rebound in the putback, sayan niya siya kay Coach Elvis, palit. Napagod din.
Now, we do have a lot of veterans present in this series. But will the faster pace necessarily benefit a specific team?
I think it's going to be South Cotabato because they are the younger team. And so if this becomes a 94-feet game, I say advantage Warriors.
Well, in the previous sequence, it was great half-court execution for Mark Cruz and company. That's why they're able to trim the lead down to 2 points once more. This assist of the game is brought to you by the MPBL Party List, ang kaliga ng mamamayang Pilipino. That's not the Ant-Man. That's the bigger version of the Ant-Man, Mark Cruz from Batangas City. We have our commissioner, Kenneth Duremdes, present at the sideline, looking very intense with Sedel Tupas and Emer Oreta. Rudy Distrito present as well. This Fan of the Game is brought to you by Jinky Skin. Glad to have them inside the Quezon Convention Center in Lucena City. Later on, the Huskers will take on the Patriots. And as you saw the face of JP Calvo, it is right now Batangas versus South Cotabato. Off of a turnover for the Warriors. 𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗛 getting it up onto Chris Porter. With a fresh haircut for Chris, by the way. Almost lost it. Now he's fouled.
And they kept sticking to that low post opportunity for Porter. But sometimes, you know, pagka sobrang, I guess to my perspective, in my observation, if you have multiple dribbles already and you're not creating that advantage, you got to give it up to the next guy and find the other advantage. Kaya inabot na siya ng tatlong bantay. Oh, another three right here.
It's Chris Porter misfiring. No putback for Jong. Oh, Baloria then lost it on the next try. And here's Enzo Hoson. Met by 𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗛. Jammer Hamito. The face-up and the miss. Batangas will take the pace. Will they slow things down? 𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛 in attack mode. They had to give it up onto Apinan. Now it's Jong. Baloria almost traveled. Chris Porter, a different angle, same result. Good box out by Apinan, but yeah, it was a late call.
Oh. Yung angat nung kabilang braso.
So it wasn't a good box out after all. As he was called for the foul. That is foul number 2 for Jexter, joining the La Virgen and Ablaza. Guys with 2 fouls in this game.
And clearly itong Batangas, the 3-point attempts have really gone up since the players have come. You know, in the first game they had 30 attempts, 25 in the second. And right now at the rate they're going, they might probably end up with another 30 attempt here from 3.
On the other end, that was a 2-pointer from Felix Apreco, who has rejuvenized himself in MPBL basketball after only playing 10+ minutes 6 times in the regular season. But in the words of Nico Elorde again, he said, bagay kasi yung style of play ni Felix sa playoffs kung saan labanan na ng puso at puro kasibagan na lang talaga magiging batayan natin.
Tama ka doon. And I totally agree. Sometimes really more on the attitude than the approach on the game.
Calvo going to Felix. Apreco. Nice fake by Jonicio. Step back 3. No good. Felix, there you go. The hard work on display. Unable to convert. It's Hamito getting it. And it is a foul on the floor.
Number 1, CJ.
It's on CJ Isit, the champion back in Season 2 with the San Juan Knights.
7th offensive rebound na yan para dito sa South Cotabato Warriors. And again, yung mga extra shots from the outside really giving them more motivation to, another 3 right there.
Hoson also wanted a foul. It wasn't granted to him as Risa Sato is very happy, enjoying the action at the sideline. By the way, that's a reminder to us that the PBL All-Filipino Conference will be beginning on November 9. So if you want to support Risa Sato, why not? And for sure, you'll be seeing Enzo Hoson watch the game, so Creamline as well. There's one of the more famous players in Philippine volleyball. By the way, we saw a conversion by Levy Hernandez. That trims the lead down to 5.
You know, Batangas really just gotta keep close here against South Cotabato and hope that the law of averages from 3 would finally catch up and for them to make their 3s as well.
It is JP Calvo converting from the mid-range.
And they take those medium-range jumpers whenever they can. Itong Warriors, but primarily still looking for those 3s.
If you're South Cotabato, you ought to get JP Calvo going once more. He was relatively quiet in round number 1. And even at the end of the regular season, in his first couple of games, he was the leading scorer for South Cotabato.
It's good for roughly off the bench, 8.3. As you see, this really good handoff right there. Minsan yan ang pinapalit ngayon ng mga coaches instead of the two-man game. It's what's called the get action. I pass the ball, you go get it with a handoff and try to figure out where the open spots would be. So it really allows for chase situations. Isa yun sa nagpahirap tingin ko sa Binyan in that game. Yung mga give and go action, get action na nangyayari para dito sa Warriors.
And so we got to give credit to Coach Elvis Tolentino and company for making it possible for South Cotabato, as now it is a basket and one opportunity for JP Calvo.
That's exactly the point that I was saying. That's another get action right there. And once he got the floor open, tried to attack it.
That's 4 points now for JP Calvo in this game. Well on pace to match his season average that he just told us a while ago. So at the start of the season, he was averaging close to 12 points per game upon his return in the MPBL. It is a 9-point advantage for South Cotabato. Back inside the Quezon Convention Center, this is Mix Gomez with Coach Mike Perez and Andrea Endicio. And so far, Levy Hernandez and company are trying to chase South Cotabato down by 9. This is the biggest lead of the Warriors so far. And I can't help but wonder, is this actually momentum that South Cotabato has brought from their series versus Binyan? They've had less rest, but then again, could rust be a factor for the Rum Masters?
I'd say it's the adrenaline of winning that very difficult best-of-3 against Binyan that's really pushing the energy right now para dito sa Warriors.
It's a 3 for Levy. He was blocked on that attempt. And the Warriors will look to extend their lead. This is the first double-figure lead in this matchup. Acuna, great extra pass.
And that rock just keeps on flying. North to south, east and west. It just keeps generating closeouts that puts the defense in a lot of pressure para dito sa Batangas.
It's a dozen assists already for South Cotabato in this game. 10 on the shot clock for Batangas. 12 remaining on the game clock. CJ Isit will fire.
That's good. Yeah, that looks good.
And Calvo has 4 to work with. He launches from half court. That's way short. And so if you're South Cotabato, you must be very happy with this 10-point lead. But for Batangas, at least they would have that 3-pointer of CJ Isit to hold on to for the second half.
Right, and I guess the big separation here really is the free throws. It's a +7 in favor para dito sa South Cotabato Warriors against just 1 free throw solitary para sa Batangas.
This halftime score is brought to you by GameX. GameX Sports, the official online basketball and a partner of the MPBL. Basta ending, GameX.
Lagi mong sinisiguradong patas. Lagi mong inuuna kung anong dapat. Hindi mo kayang malunok ang katotohanang marami pa rin tayong kababayang gutom at walang tahanan. Kaya hindi ka tumigil sa paglaban. Harapin ang kahirapan. Tulungan ang nangangailangan. Basagin ang korupsyon na kanilang nakasanayan. Sa loob at labas, man ng Pinas, bakas na bakas ang iyong tapang puksain ang mga problema ng bansa. Gamit ang lakas, gamit ang isip, gamit ang puso. Kung para sa mamamayang Pilipino, si MP, wala yang sinisino. Manny Pacquiao.
Back here at the Quezon Convention Center for your 𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛 Pilipinas Basketball League. We are at the Game 1 of the Southern Division Semifinals between South Cotabato and Batangas City. My name is Andrea Endiso, and right now we will be having our halftime interview together with one of the players of the South Cotabato Warriors, Mike Sorella. And Mike, pansin nga ng lahat na slowly mas nagiging cohesive yung team along the way compared to the eliminations. Ano ba sa tingin mo yung naging main factor that led to this huge improvement?
Isa doon yung ano namin, siguro mindset. Kasi ito yung isa sa goal namin eh. Kasi playoffs na, we have to regroup, refocus para kasi ito na yung inaasam namin, makapasok dito sa playoffs, first round, second round, and hopefully sa South Division Finals. Ayun, so mas pinagbutihan namin, hard work lang para umabot dito.
And Mike, I'm sure hinahanap ka ng mga fans ng Warriors. Bakit nga ba hindi naka-uniform si Mike Sorella in this game? Hindi ka naman injured, di ba?
Hindi naman. Ano lang, reshuffling ng players depende sa fitment dun sa kalaban, which is nung first round naman, maganda yung runs ng mga teammates ko. So hopefully ngayon, second round, tuloy-tuloy yung maging runs namin, and importante naman manalo kami as a team.
Well, that is good to hear. Meron ka ba mga gustong batiin o pasalamatan? Go ahead.
Of course, first of all, we thank Boss Manny Pacquiao sa lahat ng suporta na binibigay niya sa amin, sa bawat Pilipino. Sa team owner namin, kay Boss Michael Pacquiao, kay Boss Bobby Pacquiao sa Jensan, kay Gov Roel Pacquiao, and sa South Cotabato Governor Reynaldo Tamayo. Good evening, boss. And syempre sa MPBL party list, and sa wife ko, kay Paula, sa daughter ko, kay Venice, and sa mama at papa ko sa Bukidnon, and buong family ko sa Taytay Rizal, at syempre sa butihing Vice Mayor namin sa Taytay Rizal, Vice Mayor Pia Cabral, and sa team ko, Panalong Taytay, and kay Penelope, good evening. Ayun, so gusto kong pasasalamatan yung mga buong Taytayenyos, and hopefully susuportahan niyo ako, ayun, and sa masisipag na staff ni Vice Pia Cabral, and sa mga taga-Taytayenyos, mabuhay kayong lahat. Ayun.
Alright, thank you so much. And that's it for our halftime interview. Mga kaliga, wag po kayong bibitaw. More action when we return.
Lagi mong sinisiguradong patas. Lagi mong inuuna kung anong dapat. Hindi mo kayang malunok ang katotohanang marami pa rin tayong kababayang gutom at walang tahanan. Kaya hindi ka tumigil sa paglaban. Harapin ang kahirapan. Tulungan ang nangangailangan. Basagin ang korupsyon na kanilang nakasanayan. Sa loob at labas, man ng Pinas, bakas na bakas ang iyong tapang puksain ang mga problema ng bansa. Gamit ang lakas, gamit ang isip, gamit ang puso. Kung para sa mamamayang Pilipino, si MP, wala yang sinisino. Manny Pacquiao.
We are at halftime for South Cotabato versus Batangas City. The score reads 45-35. After a nice start by Batangas, it was a quick counter for these Warriors who have brought their momentum, their adrenaline from winning game number 3 versus Binyan onto this series. So they trailed by as many as 7, and they even led by as many as 13 points. Coach Mike, your explanation?
More or less yung field goals, it cancels it out really. Itong clear lang na difference is yung free throws. It's a +7 free throw make on a +9 more attempts para dito sa South Cotabato. And really the defense has been caused to commit more fouls para dito sa Batangas, and sure enough yung second chance points 11 versus that of 2, and the bench has been really good para dito sa South Cotabato. Mark Cruz, 7 points. Pajarito has 7, and Calvo as well has got 5, leading the guys from the bench para dito sa Warriors.
So now the cavalry is complete for Coach Elvis Tolentino, and they're showing us just how deadly they can be with their full unit. On the other end, it's 𝗦𝗢𝗡 who had that nice start for Batangas City. He leads the way with 8. Pinanin Arim then combined for 12 points, and Levy Hernandez has 4 for Batangas City. But on the other end, you mentioned the bench scoring for South Cotabato. Pajarito has 7, Cruz has 7, Calvo off the bench has 5 as well. Their lone starter in that list is Enzo Hoson, with 8 points to his name.
And a couple of triples for Enzo.
We begin the second half here at Quezon Province. This is Mix Gomez alongside Coach Mike Perez, and our courtside reporter is Andrea Endicio. Later on, the Parañaque Patriots will challenge the Huskers for their version of Game 1 in round number 2.
Now, itong second half na to, I feel Migs, it's going to be a matter of maturity and perspective. I mean, you do understand that Batangas is capable of coming back with this much deficit, especially with the full second half coming up. And now if you're South Cotabato, you have to be able to sustain whatever it is you've done in the first half and make it work for you here in the crucial closing quarters.
Ooh, there is a loose ball foul. That's going to be on 𝗦𝗢𝗡, and I reacted that way because a couple of Batangas starters were already challenged with fouls. And those are Ablaza, De La Virgen, and Apinan, each with 2.
Correct. And you're going to need those guys if you're Coach Cholo to be staying on the floor.
Ablaza only played 8 minutes in the first half, 6 minutes for MJ and 13 for Jexter. This is Hamito unable to score, but he gets the putback.
And man, the way that Jammer's been playing, ang hirap no, you put the ball on the floor against the defense of SED, you miss a shot, you get it back and put it back up in. You know, a lot of effort right there for Jammer.
It's a 3 for MJ, that's good. Can that get him going?
And MJ De La Virgen, roughly a 33% three-point shooter. You're going to need him to knock down those shots today.
It is now 47-38. Mark Cruz defended by MJ. The Ant-Man will attack. Tough shot. That's good.
Alam mo kung ano nagpa-tough doon sa tira na yun? Hindi maganda yung spacing that side of the floor. No? There were 4 of them on that side. Pero Mark Cruz, being Mark Cruz, able to fabricate a good finish.
He's up to 9 points now. As the leading scorer of South Cotabato, ball tapped away. Elorde tried to argue that it was off of Batangas. This rebound of the game is brought to you by the MPBL party list. We'll show you that highlight later on. It's a baseline inbound for MJ de la Virgen. Apinan. Hand off to Jong. Valoria. No good on that prayer. Apinan, great patience. Could have been big on the basket end one. Instead, it's 2 free throws. And now this rebound of the game is brought to you by the MPBL party list ng Kaliga ng Mamamayang Pilipino. Jammer Hamito with his 8th board in this game. And he also has 7 points.
Yeah. An offensive rebound has been pretty solid para dito kay Jammer Hamito. He now has 4 offensive rebounds in this game. And again, babalik tayo dun sa possession na yun. Bantay ka ni Sed, nagmintes. Pag-rebound, dalawang bantay sa'yo, Donoche and 𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛, and you made a shot against those 2 guys. It's not that easy, but you were able to finish.
They continue with their prowess in terms of second chance points. It is now 13-2 in favor of the red shirts. They're up by 10.
And Jammer's been the most efficient player so far para dito sa South Cotabato with the index of 12.
Mark Cruz, 2 on the shot clock. Mark fakes and feeds. South Cotabato will lose time.
Depensa rin nagpaalangan para dito kay Jammer. If that defense wasn't there, that would have been an easy catch and an easy bucket underneath. Because after all, inside the paint, Jammer's gonna lord it inside.
De la Virgen matched up against the Ant-Man. Barito there to help out. Apinan almost lost it. It ends up with a Blaza. Cedric with a layup.
Kita mo yung maturity ni Jexter Apinan. Kanina nangyari yon. He chose to go high-low, na-deflect yung bola, lumabas. Now he had an opportunity for high-low. No, I'm not going that route. I'm going to go the other way. Put the ball on the floor and feed it up to the other guy that's cutting. Happens to be 𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛.
Those were the first 2 points in this game for 𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛. Ooh, that was in and out and in for Val Acuna. Talk about sauce with your shot. And he even thought that he was fouled. The lead is 11. Valoria, he makes it 9.
Dito na pumapasok yung difference ng what's called a point per possession. You score 2, I score 3. You know, iba yung catch-up mode. So you gotta exert a little bit more effort if you're shooting only 2. Right there, another 3.
That motion in the offense of South Cotabato is flawless. 13 assists now in this game for the Warriors. Valoria to answer back. The answer is no. And here's Mark Cruz to make the lead 15. Yes! Val Acuna from downtown.
Man. 7 of 20 from 3. You're in a really good groove if you're South Cotabato.
This 3-point shot is brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances. You talked about their 3-point makes in a game. That's around what?
Roughly about, I think, 10.
10, 11.
Yeah.
They're well on pace to surpass that.
Exactly.
It's now 58-43. Timeout, Coach Cholo. Presenting our fan of the game, brought to you by Jinky Skin. We got the Haver inside Quezon Convention Center. And let's present to you another Jinky beauty in Andrea Endicio for this report.
Marami tayong tinatawag na energy guys dito sa Liga, but tonight, Kyle Tolentino and Christian Fajarito are those energy guys para sa kanilang kupunan, providing that necessary rhythm to keep their team in groove. Sakto pa nakakabalik lang nila from their injuries. Kyle had a hamstring injury that lasted for almost a week, while Christian naman had some complications caused by his allergies kaya matagal siyang nawala. Nonetheless, clear daw sa dalawang ito ang trabaho nila bilang sila ang mga bata sa team. Dagdag nga nitong si Kyle, since he has the luxury of having his dad as their coach, endless coaching session session daw ang case niya simula court hanggang kwarto, kahit sa kusina. Coach Elvis would randomly bring up things that he needs to do inside the court. Back to you guys.
You know, some people would argue that sometimes it could be a blessing, sometimes it could be a curse. Nevertheless, Kyle Tolentino's up for the responsibility, and the good thing is he has been performing alongside his co-energy guy in Christian Pajarito.
And tama ka doon. I mean, hindi lahat magkakaroon ng ganyang opportunity na to talk about basketball, especially if you're really very passionate about it. To have your dad na balikan ng ideas about basketball, it's just a gift that I guess Kyle has to relish having his dad in Elvis in this team.
Now I'm interested as to how the safe space is like for Kyle Tolentino.
Yeah.
How does he create that separation that, of course, a person would also need for himself off of basketball, as Jammer Hamito was able to find himself open for that layup, and now the lead is 19.
Yeah, and he continues to be the most efficient guy on the floor. He's at 4 out of 7 from the field. I mean, you know, 4 offensive rebounds, 6 defensive rebounds. Just work on both ends of the floor, and he's on track to do a double-double here.
Actually looking like a well-oiled machine, which was how Batangas looked like all season long. That has been their identity. Even in the prior seasons, they will have to activate themselves even further because apparently this game is special to them. They have 2 birthday celebrants in the upcoming days. Sir Gene Alabanza and Coach
Dino
Enrile.
Right.
There you go.
Oh, the free throws.
It's not as many attempts for Batangas, and yet the percentage is not ideal as well. Apinan could not convert on the layup. They get one more try. An attack for Jong. Molorio will miss. He got his own board. And now it is almost a steal. Panya Morgan. In and out. Mark Cruz working very hard. Philip, another look. Same result. Another offensive rebound. Another look for Philip, and finally he converts.
Yan yung kanina we were discussing. Almost equally yung offensive rebound, but it's the conversion off of it. It's the second chance points that's really driven this advantage para dito sa Warriors. 16 versus 3 right now in that department.
That actually makes it 6 now for Batangas, right? But still a double-digit difference. Ooh, there's a takedown, no call on the fall of Elorde. And a miss as well by the Warriors. Panyamogan, can he heat up? Bounce pass, nice find, and Mark Cruz was fouled.
You know, one of the guys that's been really good for Batangas, Philip Panyamogan. You know, there were games that the games really had to run through him, and so right now I think that's one perspective that Batangas is looking at, to have Philip drive the offensive side of the floor.
This free throw is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Mark Cruz unable to convert. It's now less than 50% efficiency from the line for these Rum Masters.
Well, Batangas is dead last in terms of attempts and makes, so no surprises there. It's really the threes that's been, I guess, the unexpected thing on the part of the game of Batangas in the previous series, which so far hasn't really shown yet here in game number 1 against South Cotabato.
Baseline inbound, nice fake by Seth, and he feeds onto Ochea, who scores with his left hand.
And I feel that's what makes Batangas so dangerous. I mean, they will keep on executing, they will be very disciplined and make the right decisions. No rattle at all in these guys.
It's a 7-0 run for Batangas City. No answer from Pajarito. Battle inside. It's Tolentino getting the board. Jonisha for 3. That is good. South Cotabato is just relentless in this game.
I wish we had stats for catch and shoot. I mean, ang daming catch and shoot nitong Warriors right now, and they're making the right decisions. Good ball movement, corner 3.
Catch and shoot as well for Levy Hernandez.
And you love it when players have that level of IQ to understand that's the most time that you are free, when you catch the ball and shoot it.
That's the first make of Levy from downtown. 1 out of 6 in this game after totaling 11 3-point makes in their 2 games in round 1. Nice fake, Marwin. Step back 3.
Oh, no.
Back-to-back for Marvin Janicio.
You could almost see it in the comfort of how he released that shot. From our vantage point, you knew that was going to go in.
Yeah, he worked on that with Marikina. It has translated onto JRU and South Cotabato. And guess what? South Cotabato is now up to 10 threes. That's their average in a game. And we had 12 more minutes.
Agree. So, you know, looking at their 3-point makes, itong South Cotabato, they've really been close to about 9. It's 9, 10, and 8 in the 3-game series against Binyan. But right now, this is really just exceptional shooting here from 3.
So after the 7-0 run by Batangas, the answer is 6-0 off of 2 threes for the Warriors. It's actually a 6-0 Marvin Janicio run. And Panyamogan continues to miss free throws. There you go, another miss.
Well, I'm sure they're going to work on this come the next practice.
Their percentage at the stripe as of this moment is 25%. It is almost a steal by Ablaza, but he does force the turnover, backcourt violation.
And 25% is pretty low considering na itong Batangas is good for roughly about 66% free throw shooting. So you got to do better than that.
I mean, any coach would be mad about a 25% shooting efficiency from the line.
Kahit siguro simula pa sa mga intercolor, whatever. Missed free throw, she's supposed to make them. It's just been tough from the line para dito sa Batangas.
Levy, no good. Great energy by Apreco. Here's Kyle Tolentino feeding on to Felix. The turn and the make.
Let's load Apreco.
Now, this has become a 3-point game and a 94-feet game, both in favor of the Warriors. The pace, the way this game has been played, it's more like the style of South Cotabato.
Yes. Non-stop, possession after possession. Since the first quarter, we haven't had many breaks.
And you see, I don't know if you noticed this, pag may tumira ng 3, yung mga rebounders that crashed is coming from the corners.
This play of the game is brought to you by Suzuki. The drive by Kyle Tolentino and the feed onto Mr. Flex. That's how Richard Tapos would call Felix Apreco.
Hindi mo malaman kung saan ka nagandahan dun eh. Yung sa decision ni Kyle Tolentino na jump and stop or yung sa footwork na pinakita ni Apreco. That to me is pretty excellent for Apreco to stay in control despite all the white shirts right in front of him.
Mark Cruz, another free throw. That's a make for the big guy. Trimming the lead down to 13. Scoring in this quarter, by the way, is 25-22. 1 minute and change.
So it's relatively pretty close, no? Just the free throw makes, that's been the difference, and the threes.
A miss by Jervy. Forward by Philip. Hernandez had to stop. Napaganda pa para kay Levy Hernandez.
Nakita mo yung frustration ni Jervy. Una-una, alam niya, late siya. Pangalawa, napatapik pa siya. Kaya nabigyan mo pa ng extra nga puntos para dito si Levy.
He almost traveled, by the way.
Right.
Then again, Levy Hernandez is trying to catch fire as he has 9 points after having 21 and 20 respectively in round number 1. He averaged 13.7 in the regular season as the leading scorer of Batangas City. 70-60. JP Calvo. 40 seconds, 14 on the shot clock. Screen by Jervy. Calvo still has it. He spins. Great patience and the feed, but a block by Levy. That's called a foul. And Coach Cholo will challenge.
Minsan talaga you have to just marvel at the footwork of some of the guards nowadays and the way that they play the game. I mean, we saw the other day Rob Sell is doing it right off transition, but here, right in traffic, Calvo making the right decisions.
Ooh. It's the hit on the face.
Yeah.
And per Coach Cholo's angle, it would have been hard for them to see it. So Apreco does have a nice case here. At mukhang hindi na tinuloy yung challenge. Yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Flex will proceed to the line.
Pero ang maganda dito sa Batangas naman, sure, they're trailing right now and they're defending. Pero yung kanina pinag-usapan natin na 3 guys that have 2 fouls on them, they continue to have just 2 fouls. And there's that situation defending without fouling. So helps them come into the fourth quarter a little bit more comfortable in that aspect.
It's giving yourselves a chance to pull off a nice comeback, which Batangas, by the way, has been known for this season. It was actually in this venue when they came back 6 points down in 20 seconds versus Quezon Province after an 8-point comeback in Pampanga versus QC. Panyamogan down the middle. The feed to Mark Cruz. Back to Ablaza. Double team. Sed escapes. Sed will miss. No more shot clock. Cal Tolentino with a lot of time, he shoots, no good. Another possession. And Calvo had to stop the play, but they're already in penalty.
Right idea to stop the ball up high against the streaking Levy Hernandez, but you know, you got into contact and penalty.
Levy, make it 11 points now for him. He is the new leading scorer of Batangas City, surpassing the 10 of Don Ochea. Make it a dozen for Sniper de Mexico. 6 seconds for South Cotabato. They're up by 10. JP Calvo. They go to Tolentino. That could have counted. It was short, and so we end the third quarter with a 10-point advantage for the Warriors.
Yeah, a little good run para dito sa South Cotabato early in the quarter. Like trying mag-recover itong Batangas, and so right now it's this much advantage, roughly about 10 points at the end of the third.
These highlights of the game are brought to you by SIP Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration. You saw the statistics of the leading scorers of South Cotabato a while ago. Christian Fajarito is back, and he has surely made his presence known with a dozen points. Val Acuña, who hit 6 threes in the regular season versus Batangas, is now up to 9 points. And Mark Cruz has 9 as well to contribute for the underdog, supposedly, in this matchup. The number 6 seed South Cotabato versus the number 2 seed in Batangas City. Presenting our Suzuki muscular and sporty fans of the game, just like the Avenus, do more and achieve more with a muscular and sporty scooter from Suzuki, the Avenus. Oras na para magmotor, at oras na rin para imbitahin ninyo ang inyong mga minamahal sa buhay, inyong mga kaibigan para manood ng Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino. Mix Gomez po ang inyong lingkod, kasama si Coach Mike Perez at si Andrea Endicio sa paghaharap ng South Cotabato at Batangas. Coach Mike, ang ating quarter scoring.
And clearly, you know, sinubukan bumalik nitong Batangas, at least stay in pace, no? Dun sa 10-point deficit. Now they've got the entire fourth quarter to come back. But mukhang iba ang plano ng South Cotabato Warriors. And Marvin Dionisio's been pretty hot from the outside.
That's 11 points, 3 threes for Marvin Dionisio in this game. And this is his playoff best performance, scoring-wise. Levy Hernandez could not answer back. Rebound Marvin. Forward onto the wrong man. It's Philip who fires and misses.
Boy, and the threes have been flowing here para dito sa Warriors at the start of the third.
Fajarito lost the ball. Batangas down by a dozen. O'Neal Arim. By the way, he's been sharp in this game.
Right. Agree. Yung dalawang triples niya kanina, and then this quick rim run out in the open.
It's 3 out of 3 field goal shooting for 𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛 en route to 8 points so far. Nice feed onto Fajarito.
Wow. We talk a lot about Jammer Hamito, but Fajarito's been, you know, stat-wise, paring halos sabay, pero yung mga intangibles na binibigay ni Fajarito, extra possessions, you know, the tap, deflections and all.
I tell you guys, on the way to Quezon Province, Coach Mike and I were giving our predictions for this series. You gotta wipe that off with the re-emergence, the arrival of Christian Fajarito. Things will drastically change for South Cotabato.
When you look at that Binyan series, they surely needed Fajarito, especially that game number 2. That was a pretty close one. Had not Kenny missed that close layup shot. But again, you know, Dumapig was in there trying to do his best, but it's different if you have Fajarito. You're gonna need Dumapig, but to combo with Fajarito, that's a different combination altogether.
78-66. Over 2 minutes gone by in the fourth.
And look at how quickly they fly that ball around.
Fajarito giving up the screen. Hoson operating. They go back to Christian for 3. That's short. Here come the run masters. Devi was wide open in the interior. They could not locate him.
There you go. You got advantage down on the block.
Hernandez turning around. He's fouled.
A good decision there by Levy. Understands he's got advantage. Possessional against Hoson underneath. Why not go grab it? And a good thing naman, si Enzo's trying to stay his ground.
Delaverhen returns alongside Jexter Apinan, the guy who actually told me that the most efficient player of Batangas is this man, Levy Hernandez. I just had to give out those questions because that was the team that you were building up to me. The street throw is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas.
And kanina we talked about efficiency being a key driver para dito sa South Cotabato. When you look at the numbers, boy, how efficient is this? 50% field goal shooting, 61% from the perimeter, 37% from 3, 83% from the free throws. A plus 13 when it comes to second chance points. You know, these efficiencies are really what's driven them to be in the driver's seat right now.
Here's Mark Cruz working with Christian Fajarito. The Ant-Man attacks and misses. The effort right there for Christian. Fajarito turns around and another miss. Almost another offensive board. We're back with MJ. They go to 𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛 up top, Ablaza. Now it's Jexter. That's a mismatch against Hoson. They go to Levy. Hernandez. Able to escape. Sorry, miss. Apinan is blocked. And on the recovery, it's Marvin Janicio. Forward to Hoson, who then lost the ball.
Ibang klase yung scouting rin ni Coach Elvis. You see how many times you've seen a point-blank shot na dalawa ang dumidepensa sa tumitira. They understand that Batangas is primarily a perimeter shooting team, especially close ones right in the paint.
There's concern on the wrist of Jexter Apinan. This is his dominant hand, by the way. And there already is bandage on it. If you're Batangas, obviously you don't want to lose Jexter Apinan in this series.
You're going to need him. He's a key piece to the rotation.
Let's see the previous sequence on his fall. It's hard to see there.
Didn't see enough.
All right, we'll let the referees sort this one out. Even Coach Cholo attended to his longtime player from Makati to Batangas in Jexter Apinan. This guy some people would argue has been underrated. He already has won MPBL first team selection. That was back in season 3. There's another when he was second team. That was last year. Coach Cholo with a warning. And is there a 5th player already for Batangas? Yeah, they need a sub. And it will be King Importante.
King Importante to replace Dexter Aminan.
This is the first appearance of Importante in this game. That's another staple in the core of Coach Cholo. Hernandez backing down. Just, ooh, no. There was extra motion. And it led on to a hit to the face of Jammer Hamito.
Jammer too, equally important para dito sa South Cotabato Warriors. We talked about Dexter earlier. This is equally an important rotation guy para sa kay Coach Elvis.
But also, how about Levy Hernandez? What would the call be against him? See what happened after his attempt. Ayan, no?
Oh, yeah.
Extra motion yan. That was totally unnecessary.
Could be a case of frustration also. You know, he went underneath, got shot blocked.
Referees are reviewing that previous sequence. That gives me time to greet a couple of Batangas supporters. Mark Garcia says hi to the Batangas City LGU officials. Mayor Beverly Rose Abay de Macuha, Congressman Marvy Marino, Vice Mayor Eliza Cruz, Team EBD, Tanduay Rum Masters fans, the Care family as well, and all the Patangueños who are watching on the MPBL live streams and even on TV. Magandang gabi po sa inyo. Later on, it is Parañaque versus Quezon in their Game 1 for Round 2.
Well, 11-point advantage para sa South Cotabato Warriors. I look at the stats. Tells me that in some of the stat lines, the numbers have really gone down for South Cotabato, especially in that Binyan game. But right now, they're surpassing all these numbers that have gone down. Bench points is a +10 versus the series of Binyan. Second chance ploys, it's a +8 right now. Fast break, it's a +11. Points in the paint, it's a +7. So you see a different type of South Cotabato in this game.
There was a warning on South Cotabato number 1, Jammer Hamito, for delaying the game.
Ooh. Very interesting. Nothing on Levy Hernandez. Okay, a warning on Jammer and a foul on Kyle Tolentino. Okay.
Yeah.
We proceed.
It is what it is.
Hernandez just converted on his first free throw. He's up to 5 out of 6 as of this moment. Now let's go to Andrea Endicio.
Kung sa South Cotabato, there are guys providing some energy. During the Huddle of Batangas, nabanggit ni Assistant Coach J.R. Aquino, yan naman ang nagkukulang para sa Rum Masters. That energy and willingness to win inside the court. Yes, they stay disciplined with all of their movements, both on offense and defense. Hindi sila bumibitaw despite the lead, but they need that extra push, that fire to get them back in the game. For Dexter Apinan naman, his left hand is being iced. As per their team PT, it's suspected as a sprain. Mix and Coach Mike.
Get well soon. Dexter Apinan, your team definitely needs you.
Agree.
Especially with Christian Parito performing like an all-star. 18 points for him.
Yeah. And Andrea talked about yung energy na lacking para dito sa Batangas. I guess it snuffs the energy out of you if you try to defend them against the 3 and they make it. And even if you stop them from 3, may inside plays rin itong South Cotabato.
Again, they're looking like a well-oiled machine.
Agree.
He gave credit to the scouting and preparation of Coach Elvis Tolentino. This is a big feat for him because, again, this is only his first time in the second round of the playoffs. Mark Cruz attacking and missing. Another offensive rebound, but a sorry miss for Hamito. Batangas down by 10. Levy Hernandez. Pass inside on to King Importante.
There you go. Continuous movement, going to open spots. And hope that the guy finds you with a rock.
First 2 points for King Importante in this game. It's a 3-possession outing. Hamito for 3, no good. Rebound Ochea, that's a foul by Christian. And an obvious one at that.
Now, I like this combination of Don Ochea and King Importante on the floor at the same time. You know, lengthy players that can run the floor.
This assist of the game is brought to you by the MPBL party list ng Kaliga ng Mamamayang Pilipino. A nice find by Sniper de Mexico. Just able to locate King Importante. And to your point about his combination with Don Ochea, sila ang madalas na nagpapalitan. I would actually be interested kung magsasabay man silang tatlo alongside O'Neal Arim. That would be defense galore for Batangas.
Agree. At saka yung kung pinag-uusapan natin yung offensive rebound, those guys are very capable of chasing long rebounds, no? Even that pulls up, kaya nilang habulin yung kahit malayo yung rebound.
Mark Cruz going to Larry Rodriguez against Cedric Ablaza. Ted has been very careful with his fouls since the 2 early ones that he obtained. 4 on the shot clock. Pajarito, he knows about it. Christian will fade. And Christian will score. Welcome back, Christian Pajarito.
Importante's done everything that he could in that situation. You push the guy away, pinahirapan mong tumira, challenge his shot up to the very last moment, but still the guy knocks down the shot.
Pajarito was selected as an all-star, averaging 9 points per game this season. He already has 20 in this matchup. So one can say na allergies lang palang makakapigil kay Christian Pajarito.
Yeah. And the 3-point makes in the 2 games that they played, to which Batangas won, they were 12 and 11 in 3-point makes.
Importante with the steal and the breakaway layup. Oh, this is concerning. Oh, Pajarito is down at the middle of the court by the logo of Quezon Province, and he's holding on to his left shoulder.
Yeah.
We were just building him up on his great return.
Left shoulder.
It was the approach of Importante.
Oh yeah. Nothing, intentional right there. It just so happens that he was there on that spot.
Okay, Pajarito is now on his feet. He's still holding on to that shoulder. Let's hope that he will be able to return. Just one more look at King with his conversion. Can they continue with some momentum for the Rum Masters? 82-74. This timeout is brought to you by the MPBL party list ng Kaliga ng Mamamayang Pilipino. We present to you the numbers of the returning Christian Pajarito with great efficiency, Coach Mike. That's above 50% from the field and perfect from the line.
Yeah, and he's just been all over the place. Tingnan mo naman yung 8 out of 14 field goals niya and the 6 rebounds. Perfect from the free throw.
There you see his shoulder getting some attention. And there was a technical foul call on Mark Cruz. If you heard it right from Richard Tampos, that's why Cedric Ablaza is at the line, but he's unable to convert.
And the free throws continue to be a struggle for the Rum Masters.
Overall, it's at 9 out of 18, 50%.
Yeah. And those 8 missed free throws, though.
And they're down by 8.
Down 8, right.
Mark Cruz forward to Janicio. Now it's with Nico Elorde. Defended by MJ De La Virgen. That is a foul. De La Virgen and Elorde getting into it. And that's the thing about Nico Elorde. Sanay na siya dyan.
Sanay na siya. Pero dito kasi nagkakasubukan na ng composure dito.
Yeah,
this moment. I mean, you know, how mentally prepared are you for situations like this? Oo, lamang ka, but, you know, we can still claw back. There's 3 more minutes in that clock. And a couple of threes could cut this down to a 2-point game. So, defense muna ang order of the day para dito sa Batangas, aside from the free throw making.
Calaverhen sits down. Panyamogan is back in. This is Larry Rodriguez going to Nico Elorde with 6 on the shot clock. 2-man game. The switch and the feed. Jonisha, 1 second. The prayer and the miss. Offensive rebound and the putback. Basket and 1 for Larry Rodriguez.
That's how preoccupied you are. 2 white shirts going for the ball, but Jammer really just making it, or rather Larry just making it difficult for them to get that ball.
It's now a plus 15 in second chance points for South Cotabato. Larry Rodriguez, one of the ultimate veterans of South Cotabato, contributing very well. He actually was in double figures in games 2 and 3 versus Binyan, averaging 12.5 points. The lead is 11. Importante. Inside to Ochea. One more feed. Ablaza is fouled. And we're back to free throws.
Gotta make them. Penalty ang South Cotabato. You're going to the line, but you have to make your free throws.
Ablaza is 0 out of 1 so far from the line in this game. The first one is good. That puts them over 50% from the stripe.
And you know that Batangas is gonna continue attacking the rack, understanding it's a penalty situation.
Trim the lead down to 9. Ablaza able to convert as he continues without his buddy, the Jexter Apinan, who has a sprained hand. Horns play for JP Calvo. He goes left.
Spain. There you go.
Rodriguez for 3. No good. Calvo recovers another offensive rebound. That is number 18 already for South Cotabato. And a steal. Ablaza up ahead. Levy Hernandez. That's a mismatch. What will Levy do? He shoots a 3. No good. It's an air ball.
But Cholo's gonna want him to take that shot. Kasi ang challenge and all, he got smaller man on him, and you trust the 3-point shooting making of Levy Hernandez.
Ooh. An early foul called on Donacheo, who cannot believe it. That's going to be number 3 on him.
9-point deficit with the Warriors on penalty. Batangas, you know, gotta make good on the free throws. They want to come back.
These last 2 minutes are brought to you by GameX Sports, the official online basketball lending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending GameX. Elorde trying to shake off Ablaza. It's a 3 for Calvo. That's way off. He got it back. Another miss. Hamito losing space. He goes all the way up. Look at that. Whew. He's on the second row. Just at the patron section. Second row sa taas, hindi sa baba.
Sa baba, sa taas. Mataas pa po sa kinalulugaran namin dito.
I want to see the replay of him going up the stairs. Here it is. Ayun, nasundan ng ating cameraman.
Galing.
Buti na lang walang tao doon.
Oo, grabe. Obstacle course na naging dating.
Parito, by the way, is back. A great sign for South Cotabato as Donachea is fouled. More free throws.
Yeah, I agree. And they're going to continue to pound it inside. You know, mix it up a little bit, get the mismatch on down on the low block, and dump it from there.
Chea is 1 out of 1 from the line so far. He has 10 points with no misses from the field. That's his first miss overall.
Yeah. So far, he's been the most steady in terms of performance. Efficiency's at plus 15.
That's the index
Yeah.
of 𝗦𝗢𝗓𝗓.
Oh, man.
Another miss for Don. He got the board and then they threw it away.
Pero kita mo talaga yung Warriors rebound, they're just crashing the boards. More than one guy going for the defensive rebound. Yan ang importanteng parte ng depensa, yung defensive rebound. Without a defensive rebound, that's no defense at all.
They're practically fighting for possession,
Right.
which gives you a chance to score.
Right?
And then again, basketball is a game of scoring.
Correct.
We've seen 11 more boards from the South Cotabato Warriors, 47-36 in this game. There you go.
And the best moments of Batangas in this game when their threes were falling, or the long twos rather were falling.
Pass inside, Rodriguez couldn't handle it. They're able to recover. Second chance scoring right there on the screen, 24-8. 𝗦𝗢𝗩𝗜𝗓𝗜 from way out. No good. Here's Philip Anyamogan. Can they do what they did versus Quezon City? 𝗦𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛 misfires. JP Calvo can play with the time.
Yes, agree. And the Warriors have been controlling the tempo since those shots have fallen from the outside. It's really been that part of the game.
There's a foul off the ball and some extra motion again from Levy Hernandez. I'm not sure if it was off of frustration or nilambing niya lang ba itong si 𝗦𝗢𝗩𝗜𝗓𝗏. Either way, there was no escalation and 𝗦𝗓𝗏 is at the stripe. 𝗦𝗓𝗏 continues to be perfect, 3 out of 3 from the line. All of his points have come from the stripe in this game. He is a 72% free throw shooter.
Pero him backcourting together with Mark Cruz and Calvo really, helped pave the way on these runs for South Cotabato.
Just keeping it steady, keeping it efficient. The theme all game long for the Warriors. We're up by 11 with 35 seconds to go. We have our player matchup update. Jong Baloria, 4 points, 4 rebounds. His playing time has been limited, by the way. Only 18 minutes for Jong. On the other end, the Ant-Man with 9 points and 5 assists. You mentioned his control alongside 𝗦𝗢𝗩𝗏𝗏 and JP Calvo, just keeping things secured.
Yeah.
For South Cotabato, we're up by 11.
Tsaka napaka-importante ng guard rotation na yan para sa South Cotabato Warriors, because when things are not working, those are the guys that, start controlling the game for you.
It's Levy. Hernandez against Pajarito. Tough shot. No good. The board for Sed, who was then blocked by Larry. And here's the forward pass, intercepted momentarily by 𝗦𝗢𝗓𝗏, who then lost space.
Actually, all the shots, point blank, para dito sa Batangas, have been, to your description, tough. No easy shots at all inside the paint. That's why we talked about it. You get the offensive rebound, but you're still trailing in second chance points.
15 seconds to go. Will Batangas even foul? It doesn't seem like it.
I don't think so.
Which means this could be the final score. And just like that, we're done with game number 1. A high-octane match. A lot of back and forth between Batangas and South Cotabato. And with the arrival, the return of Christian Pajarito, he looked like an all-star that he should have been all season long for South Cotabato. 20 points and 7 rebounds, complementing the games of Marvin Jonicio, who finishes with 10, Val Acuña with 9, Jammer Hamito with 11 rebounds, JP Calvo with 9 rebounds, Mark Cruz leading the way in terms of dimes with 5 for South Cotabato. Our best player of the game is brought to you by Daily Fantasy. Dito sa Daily Fantasy, hawak mo ang laro.
Well, we talked about all the players that you mentioned, but for me, on my perspective, you gotta give a good round of applause for Coach Elvis and the coaching staff. Those guys did real good, you know, scouting the strengths and the weaknesses and the opportunities on how Batangas would have played, and they've been, to our discussion, efficient.
It's back-to-back wins now for South Cotabato in these playoffs. The good thing is for Batangas, they will go back home this coming Monday to defend their home court in game number 2. This final score is brought to you by GameX. GameX Sports, the official online basketball lending partner of the MPBL. Basta ending GameX. Our best player, the returning Christian Pajarito, is now with Andrea Endicio.
Thank you, Migs. First of all, congratulations. And Christian, matagal kang nawala at sinabi pa sa akin kanina ni Assistant Coach Boyeng na ayaw ka sana nilang biglain. Pero kami naman yung binigla mo with that big comeback game.
Kasi hindi ko rin alam kasi nung sabi niyan, sinasabi lang sa akin ni Coach, maging ready ka kasi iba yung babanggain natin sa mga susunod pang mga games. Sabi niya, mag-practice ka lang, ibalik mo yung condition mo kasi nga tagal mo nawala. Kaya yun lang.
At kanina nakita namin na nabangga yung balikat mo, causing some muscle compression. Do you think makaka-apekto yan sa Game 2?
Hindi naman kasi siguro nanibago lang ako dun sa physical. Paghahandaan ko pa next game para masanda ako.
Alright, meron ka bang mga gustong batiin o pasalamatan? Go ahead.
Gusto kong pasalamatan. Unang-una si Lord, thank you na nakabalik ako. Tapos yung mama ko. Pangalawa, si Boss Manny na binigyan ako ng chance makabaulik. Tapos yung mga coaches ko, yung mga teammates ko, yung mga tiwala nila sa akin na binigay. Sa practice, sabi nila, kaya mo yan, makakabalik ka. Ito na nga, nakabalik ako, pero sana mas magtuloy-tuloy. Tapos binabati ko yung asawa ko, si Tita Eileen Torrentino, yung mga sponsor namin, Governor Tamay, yung RCS Sportswear, Jinkies Skin, Armor On, sa lahat ng South Cotabato. Maayong gabi sa inyong lahat. Tsaka salamat sa sa N1 Family, Pangs Family, sa FBR, sa Bulihan, Bloque 28, sa lahat ng mga nagtitiwala. Sobrang salamat sa inyo. Thank you.
Alright, once again, that was our best player of the game brought to us by Daily Fantasy. Dito sa Daily Fantasy, hawak mo ang laro. Back to you, Migs and Coach Mike.
So, the emergence or the re-emergence of Christian Pajarito should drastically change everybody's predictions in this series. Not necessarily that everybody would pick South Cotabato as favorites, but at least they would lean on to them even so compared to Batangas.
I guess ang magiging focus naman dito ni Coach Elvis is this is a very high level efficiency para dito sa South Cotabato, exceeding their averages in the last playoffs and in the regular season. How do you sustain that? Yun ang kailangan mabantayan nila Coach Elvis din.
As I mentioned, the good thing is for Batangas, come game number 2, they will have home court advantage. And as we know, the Batangueños have been very hungry for a repeat title. The last time that they experienced it was back in Season 1, and Val Acuña was even playing for them back in the day. Now he's playing against the Rum Masters. All right, speaking of Val Acuña, he's now joining Andrea Endicio alongside Coach Elvis Tolentino.
That is right, Migs. And Coach, the last time po na nakaharap ninyo itong Batangas team, it did not favor your team. Pero ngayon, nabaliktad niyo po yung resulta. What were the necessary adjustments that was done that led to this win?
Well, we just went back to details lang. Yung game namin sa kanila before nung eliminations, medyo hindi nasusunod talaga yung sistema. Yun lang naman ang inaayos namin. At saka ang goal namin is kailangan yung laro namin yung masunod. So yung adjustment, they have to adjust dun sa laro namin.
And speaking of adjustments, Coach, alam naman natin na next game mag-a-adjust ang Batangas City for Game 2. What needs to be done to secure that game?
Well, basically naman ang basketball, pagka-crucial, you just go back to basics talaga. If you do things right, so most probably, tama yung mga mangyayari. So kami dapat gawin lang namin ang tama yung depensa namin tsaka yung opensa namin. Things will be okay, I think.
Alright, thank you so much, Coach. And once again, congratulations. Punta naman tayo kay Val. And Val, malaking factor ang binigay ng inyong mga younger players in this game. Why do you think so?
Siyempre, masaya kami dahil yun nga, si Christian, sabi namin dyan, kailangan ka namin i-ready mo yung sarili mo. Ayun, nag-pay off naman today. Sana magtuloy-tuloy kasi series to, so hindi mo masasabi mag-adjust yung kalaban namin. So siguro magpe-prepare pa kami ng mas mabuti para mabigyan namin sila ng magandang laban.
And also, Val, being a veteran, facing a veteran team, ano sa tingin mo yung naging biggest advantage ninyo?
Siguro yung tonight, siguro mindset kung sino yung mas gustong manalo siguro tonight, yun lang yung sa nanalo. Kaya ayun, hindi naman kami, yung preparation namin kung paano kami nag-prepare sa Binyan, ganun din naman tonight. So sabi ni Coach, mag-focus lang kami ng mas lalo and yun nga, talagang gustuhin namin manalo.
Alright, thank you so much and congratulations to you as well. Back to you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Andrea. Let's see if South Cotabato can be consistent in following the system of Coach Elvis Tolentino for the rest of the series. They are on top as the first underdog to win game number 1 in our 3-game one so far for round number 2. Up next will be Parañaque. We'll try to do the same thing against the Quezon Huskers. What an opener here for us in Quezon Province.
Yeah, and you know, this season never ceases to amaze me of all the surprises that we have. Technically, parang 4 wins in a row na yan para kay South Cotabato because that was a close loss in game number 2. And so, you know, really good times right here for South Cotabato.
They were 1 point away from 4 straight victories.
That's right.
There you go. Thank you for joining us, folks, in our first game for today for Coach Mike Perez and Andrea Endicio. My name is Migs Gomez at magbabalik pa po ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino.